Without further ado, I would like to invite upon Adam from Swipe to present to us.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam. I'm the Chief Vision Officer of Swipe. But today itself, I would like to share with you guys the vision of how we are going to give power of data back to you guys, the users. I would like to introduce you guys to... Give me a minute. Is this mine? I'm going downwards. Okay, of course, introducing our project Swipe. We want to monetize mobile engagement data on the blockchain itself. As you can see right here, we are actually backed by Kinetic, TLDR, QCP, as well as Alpha Block from Indonesia. As we mentioned, this is a little bit slow, sorry about that. So we want to introduce why is data important itself. Because we know that data is the new oil of the digital economy. And with that itself, there's one single problem with multiple apps that is out there, or rather they are out there. You can see that each app has incomplete data profile. You can't be telling Alibaba every single thing that you do. You'll be transacting on it on Taobao and all whatnot. But you can't be telling them everything, am I right? So all of this data are incomplete. So going on to the next page itself, you can see the problems that app users are facing. First of all, as app users, all of you guys, how many of you are paid using Facebook? Anyone? See, no one's raising their hands up because no one's getting paid using Facebook, right? Facebook is getting paid for you guys using Facebook. So when users are not being rewarded for the data they actually contribute to the apps itself, that's one of the problems. And of course, each of these apps, whether are you e-commerce, are you content, or are you just games itself, you are also forced to sell your data, incomplete profile which costs minimum, to centralized data intermediaries. And these data intermediaries, right, are non-transparent tracking of data contribution, they are aggregating as well as our revenue distribution. That's also one of the problems that we are facing. And one of the partners that we work with, they actually did sample testing of the data. And some of the profiles are found in the middle of Pacific Ocean. So unless you're Robinson Crusoe in the middle of Pacific Ocean doing swiping left and right on Tinder, I don't think that's gonna actually happen for you, am I right? So we'd like to introduce our solution, which is Swipe Network. It's an end-to-end solution. First of all, you can see from our Swipe SDK, for this itself, we actually allow, using our software developer kit, the developers to collect data from their app users, whether actively or passively. And one of the solutions that we actually created for this, using SDK, is because we turn the network into a B2B2C. By working with developers, we actually don't need to go through the hard process of collecting one user by one user on every single app. And of course, what is different about Swipe, it's this point, where we put our user consent as well as privacy management on blockchain. And this is a very unique privacy and data sharing layer that we have over here. And one of the things that you guys can take a look at after that is, while many people are saying that they are creating multiple, they are trying to create multiple decentralized data marketplace, we don't believe in reinventing the wheel. When we say that, we are building on the Origins protocol for this part. And of course, once we actually build this whole process itself, one of the key things is that once you can actually decouple our Swipe SDK as well as our privacy and data sharing layer. These two of it is why we call ourselves a blockchain infrastructure and not a protocol, okay? So these two can actually be taken out, work with enterprise on its own, without our decentralized data marketplace. Why is that important? Because are there a lot of Singaporeans here? I look around, there's quite a bit of Singaporeans. We know that 1.5 million of our health data is being hacked just a couple of weeks ago, including our PMD, am I right? So these are what we meant by sensitive data, can actually be worked on our privacy and data sharing layer. And of course, moving forward, just a small recap before we move forward of our value proposition. We have privacy control, user engagement, rewards for our seller side, and for our buy side, we have auditability, complete user profile, because what we actually do is that we actually take multiple different apps, their information, and centralize them, decentralize them, put them on a decentralized ledger, and combine them on an analytical engine, which I will explain a little bit more later. And of course, the context of our content. This is the part where I want to do a little bit of explanation. Once we actually put the various apps integrated with our Swipe SDK, whether are you from behavior data, demographics, interest data, we put them on a decentralized ledger. And at this point itself, data are actually encrypted, indexed, and stored. For example, we are using IPFS to store raw data, raw and encrypted data. We are using BigChain DB as well as BlueCell to actually store indexed data. What does that mean? It means that if everything is encrypted, how can data buyers buy your data? It can't be. So what we actually do is that we actually have this meta information, right, that allows people to do their targeting. I think that's one of the key things that you guys want to take note of if you guys aren't familiar with data purchasing and monetization. Then we actually move on to the smart contract. With every data buyers, what they are looking for is very simple. They want to put in place a certain contract, a certain boundaries, such as who do we target, how much budget are we putting in, and these are the kind of things that you want to put in the smart contract so that we can actually pay our app developers as well as users fairly. Because if a user is contributing really solid 500 data points, while the other user is only contributing 50 data points, they can't be paid the same. So with this smart contract itself, it actually allows fair remunerations in that way. Then we actually went on to our analytics engine. This is one of the things I mentioned just now itself, right? Where all of this incomplete profile are put in through this analytical engine that we put in. We call it Swipe Brain later on. I'm going to share a little bit more with you guys. And from there, we actually are able to analyze this and create a complete profile. And one of the key things to take note is this is off-chain, because we right now can't find any on-chain solution that is fast enough to process the amount of data that we need to. And of course, last but not least, we actually put it onto our Swipe decentralized data marketplace for selling of it. So going a little bit deeper onto our multi-function Swipe SDK, we have our push lock screen. This personalized content actually allows app developers to increase their users' engagement and retention. Of course, in-app ads, I think that is something that is quite given. We also put in Swipe Mission. This is where users actually stake their tokens for customized campaign to get more premium fees in terms of for when they do their surveys, installs, or data collection itself. And as you can see, this tree itself is where you earn the tokens. But where do you actually spend the token? It's actually our marketplace. This in-app purchase with Swipe tokens is one of the key points, because I'm pretty sure all of you know about crypto exchange, but can you imagine 90% of population in Indonesia, in Vietnam, how would they know about crypto exchange? They might not know about crypto exchange, and how can they actually monetize, or how can they actually use Swipe token? Very simple, okay? Because how many of you are playing Pokemon Go? Okay, I see some hands at the back. Pokemon Go itself, you can buy your bags, you can buy more coins, you can buy more Pokeballs. And how do you actually get that and work by working with Swipe tokens? Because all of this in-app purchase can be spent using our Swipe tokens when you are part of you interact with the content that they actually push to you, or you interact with the in-app ads. Now, of course, what's our token economy? We have our payment. We make sure that decentralized payment is fairly distributed, as we mentioned just now. Data buyers transact with Swipe tokens only. That's one of the key things that you guys can take note of. For our rewards itself, we reward contributors based on the quality and the quantity of data they actually contribute. And staking is something very, very interesting. Okay, it's because, right, once they actually put, for example, your app buyer, your data buyer or app developer, you can actually stake tokens to get priority monetization of the data within your app itself, or you get priority targeting. Okay, and of course we have our MVU released right here. So of course, this one other thing that we want to share with you, not only have we released our blog post, we also have released our privacy management API. Okay, and of course you can actually check it out. You can actually check it out on our developer.swipecrypto.com. Now of course you can see fourth quarter 18, we are actually going to work with our app developers to actually come up with what kind of data they are actually using. And in 2019, first quarter, we are actually going to work out with them to productize this data. I'm going to quickly move forward to what we have over here, because I'm said that we are supposed to end soon. Okay, some of our traction that we have done before is that 2016, okay, we launched Aguilar's Reward in Philippines. 2017, Chapat Swipe, and in 2017 July, we actually launched our SwipeCrypto. And of course, in October, we actually become the organizers of Ethereum Indonesia. And June, we actually launched our MVU app. Of course, I'm going to quickly finish this part, okay? So what's the key thing about this leadership team is the fact that this leadership team is mainly engineers, made out of mainly engineers itself, who has dealt with multi-million tenders doing telco data and healthcare data. Clifford is from IBM, Lenovo. Andrew and Koi is both from Singtel, NCS. And Ian is actually from McKinsey. So some of our advisors, I'm very sure you guys know, Jehan, John from Kinetic, Sean Jie. We have Thomas Graham from TLDR, Joshua, who is ex-COO of Gojek as well as Uber, and is co-founder of QCP Capital. Yarrow, who is actually advising us on our smart contracts as well as tech side. And of course, the four gentlemen below itself are rainmakers in Indonesia. We have one of the top 2 VCs from Indonesia, which is Alpha JWC, and he actually successfully brought some of his startup to exit with SoftBank. And if you research on these 3 gentlemen over here, you will find out how big a player they are in the media industry. Of course, these are some of our strategic partners. One key person that I want to bring you guys to is actually GMO Research. It's actually a listed company in Japan that is working with us. Of course, these are some of our network with 2 million users in Southeast Asia. Chapat Swipe, Agilus, as well as Blogpost is actually owned and operated by us. These are some of our media coverage. And with that, thank you very much.